78.6 FM Yomaton. This is Positive Vibes with Winsome. Today is a great day. Not only is it 16 January, and even though it is raining outside, I got some awesome guests in here today. So I'm going to introduce, if you can see from YouTube, if you guys are watching, we got one of my good friends, Mr. Scott Garricky. How you doing, buddy? And then we also got my little brother, Chance Forrest. What's up, hero? So without further ado, jumping in today, we're going to talk about starting with why. Is that right, Mr. G?
Absolutely.
Let me go ahead and make sure I got you. Go ahead and say that again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to start with why.
That's what I'm talking about. And Chance, where are you going? Where you leaving to?
I'm going to Elmendorf.
Where's that at?
That's in Anchorage, Alaska.
Anchorage, Alaska. Wow. So we got an opportunity today to say goodbye to Chance right after we talk about some starting with why. Now, Mr. G, if you will, why is it so important to start? And I say that word again, to start with why.
Well, start with why. It really is the start of everything that we do. If we don't have a why, then what are we doing? You know,
Right.
It's one of those things that it is the foundation of everything that we do. And it's Simon Sinek's first book.
Right.
And just to give you a background a little bit on Simon Sinek, he was born in London, England, and he lived in Johannesburg, London, Hong Kong, and then he settled in the United States. He's got his degree in cultural anthropology from Bradis University in Boston. And as you know, he's been on TEDx conferences. Mm-hmm. He's a motivational speaker. He's YouTube and social media. He teaches strategic communication at Columbia University in New York.
Right.
He went into advertising, but then he found out his why. And his why is really, really a good thing. He inspires people to do things that inspire them.
I like that. Mr. G, let me ask you a question, because that's Simon Sinek. And I, the book is amazing. If you guys haven't read the book, he has it up there posted. It's called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Now, Mr. G, you told us about Simon. Can I ask you, who's Mr. G?
Mr. G. Okay. You know, it's one of those things I could tell you about all the what's, and we're going to get into that golden circle here in a little bit.
I like it.
The why that inspires me is that I am here to help people.
I like that.
That's why I'm here.
So what do you do here in Okinawa, Mr. G?
So what I do here is I am the Force Development Flight Chief.
Nice.
And what does that mean to people? It means that I have a section called the First Term Airman Center and the Career Assistance Advisors.
Nice.
Who basically what they do is they are the first face for people that are coming in, the enlisted crew that come into the base.
Right.
They are the first face that they see and give them a professional development.
Oh, nice. So you're helping people find their why.
Absolutely.
Through your programs.
Absolutely. That team then inspires them to go and get their education, and I oversee the education office.
Nice.
And then when they get into college, they need some resources to study by, right?
That's right.
So where do we point them? We point them to the library.
I like
so
that.
I oversee the library as well.
Mr. G, so how long have you been here on the island?
Been here just over a year. I got here in December of last year.
Nice.
And so it's been a short time, but it's been a COVID time.
Yes. So we're talking about Mr. Garricky. We're talking about Start With Why. If you're just tuning in, 78.6 FM Yomaton. I got Mr. Scott Garricky and Mr. Chance Forrest, who's leaving us for Elmendorf, Alaska next week. And Mr. G is what I call him. We work together every day.
Every day.
Mr. G is talking about, he's been here a year, talking about Simon Sinek's book and some of the points that Simon brings out. He gave us a quick history of who Simon is. And Mr. G, what's some of the key points that you pulled from the book when you were reading it?
Right. One of the things that he goes into, which is really, really critical, is the importance of the principle of the golden circle. Now, you know the golden circle. You got 3 concentric circles that go inward. And the first one that you're going to see is the what. Okay? That's the outside circle. That's the clothing we wear. It's the things that we have on. Those are the things that we see. The how are those actions that we do, and they're based on our principles, okay? Ethics and all the morals and everything like that.
Okay.
But the why is the important part. The why is the innermost circle, and those are our values and beliefs, what we believe. So that's the three concentric circles of the golden circle.
Okay.
Now, it is not the only way to be the leaders to be successful, but
Right.
it is a way to be, or a way for leaders to be successful.
Gotcha. And you're saying starting with why is a way for the leaders to be successful, correct?
Absolutely.
And the book pulls into the importance of that. Now, when you're talking about the circle, how does it, I ask, prioritize those three?
Absolutely. If you've got to start with the why, because if a company made a product, and Simon Sinek, being that he was in advertising first, but you can apply this principle to anything really. If you start with the what, then you're really just looking at the outside of everything, and it's not scratching the surface.
Right.
Okay. People don't buy things mostly for the what, because it builds no loyalty.
Right.
All right. And so if they buy it for the why, then you're going to build loyalty and commitment. You know, I worked between my military career and my career in the civilian force. I used to work at Target, and I was a Target store manager. Great company,
Right.
great principles and so forth, great training.
Right.
Takes a different kind of leader
Right.
to do that, to motivate people. But one of the things that stuck with me while I was there is they taught us that difference between commitment and compliance. Now, what kind of leader are you going to be if you inspire compliance
Right.
through fear, intimidation, manipulation is what Simon
Right.
Sinek says.
Right.
That's the kind of leader that's not going to inspire any kind of commitment in somebody.
Right.
And basically what that's going to do is going to build uncertainty.
Yep.
Okay. And then that person doesn't know if they're going to get fired tomorrow or not, you know? But if you build a commitment, then you're going to get loyalty.
Gotcha.
Then you're going to have people motivated to stay a little longer, to be a little bit more focused
Right.
in the things that they're talking about and working on.
So
And-
he basically said, and if I'm understanding that right, is having that strong foundation built on commitment is going to change the motivation of those folks that are following you, essentially, right?
That's absolutely right.
So if you're driving in, if you guys are listening, we're talking about Simon Sinek and starting with why. Mr. G was just covering why if an individual is starting with fear, right? What kind of leader are you? What kind of person are you if you're trying to lead a team or be a coach or trying to drive motivation from others? If you try to do it with fear or the iron hammer, you're going to have too many question marks, right? Too many people trying to poke holes in that way of approaching it. However, if your foundation is different, you start with, hey, we're going to do this as a team. We want to be committed to each other, whatever our goal is. This is our why. This is what we're trying to do. And Mr. G, that parallels. I know you spoke about Target. But that's pretty much any kind of business you go to, right?
Absolutely.
If that foundation is strong.
That's
wow.
right. That's it. That's absolutely right. And you know, the thing on it is that leaders need to do when they want to inspire commitment, they need to speak to somebody's feelings.
Yes.
Okay. You
Yes.
need to speak to those hearts and minds of those people.
Right.
In order to get really deep down into what drives them and what motivates them.
Do you see, just from your experience, and you've seen it too, right? Different kinds of leadership and followership, right? So do you see a different type of energy when you have folks going, okay, my boss is kind of, hey, that dude's me, man.
Oh, I hear you. He ain't no leader, you know. It's one of those things that, yeah. Now that absolutely true. You bring up a really good point. When it's one of those things where Simon actually talks about it a little bit. The difference between charisma and energy.
Yes.
Okay. Now you could think of all these infomercial people.
Right.
They got lots of energy, right?
Right.
But I'm telling you what, the people that really inspire are those that have charisma. Now let's talk about this.
Okay.
Bill Gates,
Yep.
founder and CEO of Apple. Basically, what he did, what he does, he's not out there. He really kind of stumbles over his words a lot. He's kind of quiet. He's
Right.
introverted and that type of thing. But when he talks, so many people listen.
Right.
So many people listen because he has the charisma. He loves what he does.
Right.
And that transmits to what he's saying, and it transmits to everybody that's around him.
Say that again, Ms. G. He loves what he does, right?
Loves what he does.
I like that. Okay. And when you feel that, and from even from a team perspective, and we're talking about right now, start with why. If you guys are just tuning in, 78.6 FM, Yomaton. This is Positive Vibes of Winsome. Talking with Scott Garricky right now. We're talking about Simon Sinek's book, Start with Why. And we're talking about the energy, right? if you're following someone or if you're on a team and you guys had that shared goal, that shared foundation, not compliance, but commitment, that pride in what you do, that fire because you want that outcome to be for each other, not just because of somebody else's goal, but you guys have that shared goal, right? So switching lanes, I guess we can say. So that's business. We're talking about leadership, followership. Just as an everyday person, why would you say, Mr. G, starting with why is so important?
Okay, so starting with why, leaders that want to really get people to be committed to something have to understand that people want to be part of something bigger than themselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so if leaders can understand that the things that people do impact so much more beyond than what they're doing. It's the why they're doing it. I got an example of it.
Okay.
So my librarian,
Right.
he checks out books to people all the time. The act of checking out a book is not hard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
the easiest thing. You go click, click, and then thank you very much. Off you
Right.
go. But when I talk to those people and I make them understand that what they're doing is so important to the why of what they do, is you try to understand that checking out the book is the what.
Right.
But the why is you are helping this person advance their career, advance their education, advance their learning skills.
Yep.
And with that simple act of making sure that that book is checked out correctly,
Yep.
you have now increased somebody's ability to influence and to lead,
Right.
because you are giving them the tools and the resources necessary to do that,
There
to
you go.
further their career, to get a promotion, to do all these other things
Right.
in their life. And as long as you can transmit that as a leader, they will make sure that that book is checked out every single time. Right.
With a different passion, energy. I heard someone say yesterday, and it was awesome. It was right on time, right before the show. Our base clinical psychologist, one of them, he said, I believe it was President Kennedy asked the janitor, "What do you do?" He said, "Sir, my job is to get a man on the moon."
That's it.
The janitor, he had bought in and was so passionate about his piece of the puzzle, right?
Yes.
And I think that's so strong, that was so profound. I've heard it before, but hearing him saying it and how timely that was, and me and you about to talk about this today, that was right on time. I was like, yes, because he felt the entire piece. He knew that his role was significant. No matter how small it may seem to others, he knew, right? He played a huge role in getting a man, the very first man,
That's it.
on the moon.
That's it.
So that's incredible. What other points did you see out of there, Mr.
Well,
G?
the thing on it is, a good leader, when they're expressing their why, it has to be clear.
Yes.
It has to be clear, and it has to be focused, and it has to be repeated.
Okay.
Because if your why becomes fuzzy,
Yep.
and that happens with success.
Right.
He says that basically, if you get successful, you could lose your why because it gets fuzzy and
Gotcha.
everything. So you need to make sure that your why is clear,
Mm-hmm.
and it's repeated, and it's consistent.
Got you. Consistency.
Consistency.
I got that. So if you're in a role where you're trying to make sure your team dynamic is strong, you can't get to a point where you're comfortable,
That's right.
even when you're up there, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Hey guys, you know what we're trying to do. No, you gotta tell us, what are we trying to do?
That's right.
And so how does that shift? And, we start talking about, and especially with our job, you guys know what we do, but you got new folks to come in, and they're motivated differently, right? Does he mention anything in there about kind of getting folks on the same page when they
Yes.
might? What does he say about
Yes. Basically, your why is the thing that's consistent. The how and the what changes. Technology is happening every single 18 months. In
Right.
Malcolm Gladwell's book, he says that there's a turnover in a generation of technology that happens every 18 months. That's actually going to go down to about a year here in the near future.
Okay.
But basically, that's the how. The hows are going to change. The whats are going to change. The why is the thing that's the same.
Okay.
Okay? So take, for instance, remember Southwest Airlines?
Yep.
Their why was you're free to move around the country.
Free to move everywhere.
Free to move around the country.
Yep.
The how is what kind of plane or what kind of processes you're going to get into, what place you're going to go.
Right. And Mr. G, I want to stick to that point. Hey, we're talking about Southwest Airlines. We're going to continue right after this break. We'll start with why. Talk to you in a second. Didn't want to lose you. Yep.
Cool. No, I saw you flag. Right?
Hey, man, good stuff. Thank you. .6 FM, Yomaton. This is Positive Vibes with Winsome. And if you guys weren't listening in during the last segment, I got Mr. Garricky, Sky Garricky,
Hey.
and we were talking about start with why. So that was first segment. Second segment, my other guests have been sitting here quietly chilling, taking in all the smoke, all the information. Hey, who are you guys sitting here next to me today? Who are
Who
you?
am I? Okay. So, I mean, if y'all don't know me, I'm Chance Forrest. But
Chance 4. Speak up, man. Speak into the mic for me.
I definitely feel like the who am I is grown over the years I've been, alive.
I like
and stuff.
that.
But I feel like the why for me is I like to help people, just like you.
Okay.
I like to help people. It kind of brings me joy in a way because no matter what kind of task it is, if you ask for it, I'm going to help you because I know I can see you trying. I can see you trying to better yourself. And, and that way, for me, that's how I better myself is helping other people. So you guys, I know I just met you, but, you guys really do inspire me because when you can sit here, talk about a book you read and just freestyle and just say, hey, this is what I learned from it.
Yep.
It's such a big thing for me because I soak it all in. I know I haven't said anything during y'all segment, but I definitely have learned some game from y'all, and I definitely like what I hear.
So
like
Chance, you about to leave us, man.
about to leave. I've been here for 2 years and about 2 months.
2 years and 2 months, and you're going to Alaska.
Good old Elmendorf. Yep.
I have some questions for you, man. I didn't want to prep you, so I'm gonna ask you real quick.
Yeah.
What is your most memorable moment? Or should I say most memorable moment while you're here in Kadena? Or should I say on the island?
Most memorable moment.
Yep.
I think definitely when I first got here
Really?
because I'm a boy from Arkansas. All right. Y'all never been to Arkansas? Don't recommend going. But it's a country place, and
Okay.
I'm used to the countryside. I'm used to certain different lifestyles
Gotcha.
that most people aren't used to, and then coming to a different country where it's all friendly and nice, you're like, oh, this is great, living a good life out here. It's very convenient to live in Okinawa, and I will miss this place.
Yeah.
I most definitely will. But I definitely would say when I first touched down here,
Yeah.
and the whole culture shock just changed my life.
It's a different culture, huh? Different culture shock for you. So come from Arkansas, seeing the island, and would you hit Texas before you came here, and that was it?
I was in Mississippi.
Oh, that's right, Keesler, right? Ooh, Texas for basic, Mississippi for tech school, and then you're here. What are you thinking after this experience? What are you thinking you're going to experience when you get to Alaska that's going to be significantly different?
Definitely driving. If y'all don't know, in America, we drive on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Here it's left, so I'm very accustomed to this. It's very normal to me. I feel like I'm Okinawan now. So, whenever, I get back to the States, I'm probably not going to get behind the wheels just quite yet. Just, got to watch. But I would definitely say that, and then definitely just the culture of the people because I notice here Okinawa is very formal and
Yeah.
very respectful, but sometimes in the States it's not like that. So
Yeah, and Alaska's different as well. You know, you're going to be,
Mhm.
even though you're part of the world, you're still going to be separated and dislocated. So it's going to be a little different. You have any big goals or plans when you get to Alaska?
I definitely want to step out of my comfort zone and try some new things. I've always been big into music.
Nice.
I definitely want to try something like that since I got all the
Okay.
free time there, especially
Yeah.
with the cold and stuff. Definitely want to get out and explore because I heard the mountains are beautiful and
Yeah.
everything. And I definitely want to do something sort of like this, just helping people, not just verbally over a radio talk show, but
Mhm.
definitely getting out in the community and see what I can help with and what I can do for the other people. Just not only to make them feel better,
Mhm.
but definitely to learn from experiences that I learned from there.
Right.
Because I definitely would say that you definitely broadened my perspective on that type of stuff.
Thanks,
So,
brother. Appreciate that.
you know,
So what is you got a goal for music? What about education?
education, I
Right.
definitely want to get a degree.
Okay.
Definitely want to start my CCAF though. Get
Mhm.
that done within next year or year and a half.
What do you want to end up with? What kind of hardware you want, man?
Now that's a good question
Uh-huh.
because I'm still trying to figure out my why. Like
Ah.
you gotta figure out that why, right?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out my why and what do I want to get to in life.
Okay.
And I'm young, but at the same time I need to hurry up because you got to get your career started.
So you mentioned that. I think that was kind of cool. And when you say why, do you mean you want to know what your purpose is?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you're passionate about? I might ask you that. I know I didn't prep you for all this, but what are you passionate about that it's like time stands still when you do it? Is it music for you?
I would definitely say music or definitely working on my car sometimes.
Yeah.
It's very therapeutic for me.
Or hanging out with your girl?
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to my girl, Sierra.
Yeah.
Over there.
Sierra's
But,
she's off the camera, but she's in the corner taking pictures and hanging out. Yeah.
But definitely like those things in particular definitely do help spark that why.
Okay.
I just need to figure out what I need to do to actually get the full picture for me.
Got you.
You know?
So you got a lot of pieces of the puzzle. You're just trying to put it all together.
Mhm.
Got you, man. So like he was telling us earlier, and like you're also saying, starting with your why, right?
Mhm.
Why do you do what you do? Why did you join the Air Force?
I definitely joined the Air Force to get out of the predicament I was in.
Yeah.
I didn't live in Arkansas my entire life, but
Right.
I lived in places almost similar to that type of standard,
Mhm.
and it wasn't a good background for me. It
Got
wasn't
you.
a good area to live in. So I needed to get out of that to progress in my life, because if
Right.
I would have stayed, I probably would have been good old Chance back in the day.
Right.
So, I definitely wanted to get out of my neighborhood and out of my place.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely travel and see what the world's got to offer for me.
Got you.
And definitely kind of also, like I said, comes in with that why, so I can see what opportunities are out there, so
Mhm.
it can broaden my perspective on that, so I can really get a picture of the puzzle.
We've kind of had this convo too, and once you make sure you speak it to the mic because it's not
I got you, I got
catchy. But why you left and what you're doing every day now, piecing it together so far. You said it already. Travel, right?
Mhm.
You're trying to figure out what you want to do with education, knocking out the CCAF first, right? And then you figure out what you actually like doing, right? You start
Yeah.
taking those classes.
Yeah.
So I will tell you this from a big brother perspective, man. Once you jump in there, you're going to see it, like, because you're going to have to be, there's mandatory classes you got to take.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's going to be some that you take that you're going to be like, hey, man, that subject was kind of fun, right? And there's going to be something that might pique your interest. And that might drive you to go in different directions. And sometimes you start in one direction. Trust me, Mr. G, tell me I'm right. Hey, you start in one direction and your mind will switch up, man. You'll be like, I kind of thought I was interested in psychology, but now I want to go into medicine, whatever
right.
it is, right?
That's right.
So for you, man, or law, for you, figure out what inspires you, what motivates you, what drives you, and see what you enjoy doing. You're going to find those things, and I'm going to tell you this in case you don't have this talk, you're going to find things that spark you, like you said, right? Engage you, grabs you, and then it interests you, and it's going to pull you in. Trust me, it's going to be something that pulls you in, and you're going to be like, man, I didn't even realize I've been here 6 hours, right?
That's what I'm looking for. And I'm definitely, like I said before, I'm glad I got these two people next to me, because, hearing that from people, like different perspectives instead of your own, it definitely like gives you a refresher, like, dang,
Right.
you know what? Let me do that. Because that's what a lot of my generation needs, is these leaders out here. And, some people have to grow up and be their own leader. And
Right.
it's hard for them to get that that knowledge because, well, they didn't have anybody to teach them, you know. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely glad I got y'all here, so I can, you know, soak in all the information and take it back with me when I go to Alaska.
If you had a chance, thinking about everything we saying right now, so Okinawa, say today was your last day and you had a chance to talk to everybody that you've met since you've been here, how would you say goodbye?
Well,
Take your
I've been
time.
thinking about this one.
Yeah.
I want to say to all my friends, if y'all are listening, definitely from Okinawa or Arkansas or everywhere, you know,
Yeah.
I definitely say I want to thank y'all, all my closest friends and family out there, because without y'all, I wouldn't know where I would be at. Especially Sierra, I know you hiding in the corner over there, but definitely you've helped me through my life, and especially you, Sergeant Cully, you know,
Appreciate
do a
it,
lot
man.
for me, you know. And I want to say I'm thankful for the opportunities I've had here, but it's time for me to go. So, you know, it's time for me to go, but I will miss this place, most definitely. It was, you know, a kid coming from Arkansas, living in Japan for 2 years. This is crazy. It's a crazy story. Probably the best story my family's had in a long time. So, you know, I would say definitely thank you to all you people out there, and I hope y'all stay safe out here in this these COVID times.
Thank you for that, man. So you're going to get to Alaska. You ready for the snow?
Who's ready for the snow? You know, I don't think anybody's ready for some snow, you know, but especially coming from an island. But.
So, well, I got you, man. You know, you guys know the third segment is always dedicated to the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency Group. So if you see their Facebook page out there, again, I'm going to put it out there, the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency page, Facebook group. So what we're talking about right now is, and I'm going to ask these two guys next to me, we've got about 2 minutes left, and I'm going to start with Chance. One of them's got to go, Chance. You got burgers, tacos, fried chicken, shrimp, crab legs, fried fish, pizza, pasta, or steak.
You say only one got to go.
One got to go. Which one you going with?
See, my healthy, you know, my
This
healthy
for the group.
physique, you know, I would say all of them got to go. But if I had to choose,
One.
I would say the steak.
All right, y'all heard him.
The steak.
Chance said the steak. I'm going to
Mhm.
show Mr. G. Mr. G, I'm going to give you a second.
Yeah, no,
So-
I already know the ones.
Which one?
It's a crab legs.
Crab
legs.
legs?
They're too hard to get into. It's too much effort for too little meat.
They good, though. They good.
So Chance said that Chance, if you had one meal you could never have again, you saying you'd never want another steak in your life?
Well, think about it. You know, a burger kind of the same thing. It's just, I think it's a little bit different. But if
You
I had to
haven't
get
had my
rid of
steaks
it,
yet.
you know,
There you go. Tell him, Mr.
maybe
G.
that,
You
maybe
haven't
that's
had my
what it
steaks
is.
yet.
Maybe that's what it is. But I was never really a red meat type guy. So.
Got you. So for me, Mr. G, you said crab legs.
Oh, yeah.
Too difficult to get into?
Too hard. Too much effort for too little meat. I'm telling you what. They taste good on occasion, but, man, I tell you, with all the rest of those lists there that you had, I could definitely go for any of those. So.
Nice. So we got crab legs from Mr. G, steaks for Chance. I would have said fried fish, guys. I'm not a fish fan.
Ooh.
Yeah, for some reason, everybody was tripping about that because I'm coming to Kadena in Okinawa, and I'm not a fish fan. They're like, how you going to survive? You know, you're in Japan, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, seafood.
You got to like fish
Yeah.
if you're here.
That's what I heard. So I want to tell you, Chance, man, and I'm going to say this to everyone who's listened to me all last year. I gave you a couple of shout outs because I've seen you, man. And I think sometimes we go through things and we don't know who's paying attention or watching. And just as a person, an individual, a young man, I've had the honor of watching you grow. I just want to tell you I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you. I hate to see you go, but I'm excited for what's next. And I know you're going to do great things, man. I've seen you conquer the impossible. I've seen you survive some of your worst days, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? You're still standing. You're still here. And you know, I'm only a phone call away or a text or a video chat. You know, I like the video chat and bug
Of course.
everybody. But no matter where you go, man, you know, you take my heart with you, your family. And thank you for taking your time to come here today, man.
Of course.
Appreciate you. So if you guys didn't know, he's heading to Elmendorf, Alaska. And we are going to take a break to come back and talk about some more things for the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency Team. We'll talk to you right after this break.
Man,
Thank you,
that's
brother.
crazy.
That's good. That's way to go. Way to go.
That's crazy.
Awesome. Awesome.
feel like you floating whenever you talking. You just like, what I gotta say next. Like,
Very natural.
It was
It
smooth.
does feel natural.
That's nice.
It does feel natural.
That's the best conversation you're going to have is when you feel comfortable,
Right.
you know, and not nervous or anything, you know.
Exactly.
Y'all good, man. This is nice. This is my
Good.
first time having folks in here.
Hey.
I like
This is
this.
interesting view, huh?
It's different. I'm trying to get used to, because the reason I'm looking away, if you guys see me, I'm checking your sound levels.
Yep.
So if it goes over, I'm like, oh, let me adjust. It sucks because I want to be able to watch you and talk to you.
I know.
I'm like, that's why I was telling you to pick it up.
Yeah, speaking to
towards
the mic,
the,
ladies.
Speaking
phone
of the
second
mic,
ago.
eat the mic is what they used to say.
Yes, eat the mic.
Eat
Okay,
the mic.
okay.
So coming back, the topic, just to give you guys heads up,
Yeah.
is music and mindfulness.
Okay.
Okay, music and mindfulness.
What do you mean by the mindfulness, though?
I'll explain it. I'll break it down.
Okay. Definitely can speak some knowledge on that one. Did you get your music to plug in?
Hmm?
Did you get your music to work?
Last week, so you can hear the music on the radio, but YouTube won't let it stream. Even though I got rights from Team Fearless to play it,
Yeah.
YouTube, it hasn't communicated with them yet. So we're still working on that piece. Yep. Working on that. Hopefully next week we'll have something back. 78.6 FM Yoma Time. This is Positive Vibes with Winsome. Hey, this is the last segment, and as you all know, this is dedicated to the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency Team. Hey, I asked my teammates here, if you had to take away one of these 9 meals, which one would it be? Chance said steaks. Yo, my heart sank. I never thought anybody would say steaks. And he ain't had Mr. Garrick's steak.
No, you
man.
didn't.
Not yet.
So that's what it is. Mr. Garrick, Chance leaves by Thursday, so we might have to try to figure something out.
We could do something.
Change it. Mr. Garrick said crab legs, man. So I can see that though, Mr. G.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to work for my meal, man.
Think about it. Exactly.
Give me a fork and a knife. I'm done.
Exactly.
Hey, last week, of course, I go through and scroll down on the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency page, and I always try to find topics to speak to on the weekend. Last week, we had Tina, who provided the group a song. Of course, it was "Don't Be So Hard on Yourself," and the team played this during one of their virtual house in-houses, and it was really cool, man, to see that how music plays a role in our everyday lives and how it actually, our mood can be dictated by the music we listen to, right? So I told my guests right before we got back on the air, hey man, we're gonna talk about music and mindfulness. So for me, and if you guys follow me on Facebook, you'll see I'm always somewhere by water, right? And I always got my headphones on. I'm a little different. I don't listen to R&B, hip hop. I usually listen to classical music or motivational speakers. Usually that's all I'm listening to. And for me, it's because of positive affirmation. When I was younger, of course, I can listen to just about anything. But I noticed if I let the music take me where it could, sometimes that negative music takes me to a negative mindset. So speaking of music and mindfulness, and what's so significant about that is music, your mood, you select and you choose, right? So if you got the option to choose what music you listen to, what kind of mindset are you trying to be in, right? Are you trying to be in a positive mindset? Are you trying to be in a cheerful mindset? Then are you listening to the music or the words that are going to actually help set you there? Or are you listening to something that's going to take you into a different atmosphere mentally, right? What is your mindset in the music that you listen to? So some people, hey, and I'm all for it. Some people, we joke about it now about the mumble rappers on the music. I don't even know what they're saying anymore in 2020. But the thing is, some people, that's their grind. That's what they vibe to, right? And we call it vibes. What's we vibing to? And it's selective based on where you're trying to go mentally. But I will say this for the folks who are listening to this link and from the Air Force Wounded Warrior page, know where you're trying to be mentally. Plan it. If you wake up and every day we say you can throw yourself aimlessly and let the music loop wherever it goes, but if you know you're trying to start your day in a positive mindset, why wouldn't you start your day with something that's positive to listen to, right? What puts you in one of those moods that helps you think, reset, get started in a positive way? Would you want to listen to heavy metal when you first wake up in the morning? I mean, it might be what boost you. And then you have those folks who start off in the gym. Think about it. I wake up and I want to listen to something that's going to get my body going in the gym. again, you control what you listen to, right? Instead of letting the music take you, you control, you direct. You are the director. You select what you want to take in. I was joking yesterday when I was bringing this up to a friend. We call it addition by subtraction. What does that mean? I'm adding positive vibes to my life because I'm getting rid of the negative ones. Mm-hmm. So if you're putting better music in your ears, better vibes in your ears in the morning, it doesn't have to be music. Like we were just talking about Simon Sinek's book. He has all kind of podcasts and different radio that he's been on, different shows. I mean, there's different speakers that are giving you that energy that you may need, that vibe that you may need to wake up in the morning. And music is important. It's been around forever because it's one of those things that allows you to find a vibe and get through. There's folks who listen to music all day. I see it. They usually got one earbud in at work. They got the little speaker at their desk, or they had the podcast playing. And I like to see, and I always ask, and I'm going to ask my guests what kind of music they listen to. So I'm going to start with Chance. Chance, what kind of music you listen to in the morning, brother?
You know, it's honestly a mixture of things. It could be, you know, R&B. It could be rap. It could be soft rock.
Yeah.
I don't like that heavy metal stuff. I don't
Okay.
like that.
That's okay.
But, you know, I like a lot of things. I definitely like jazz music, too, just because of how soothing it can be, depending on what type of, you know, energy you're on.
Who's your favorite artist? If you had to pick, let's do like the other one. If you had to pick one artist to take with you on the island, you can only pick one.
Okay.
Easy. Who is it?
So he's a Mississippi native. He's his name is Big Crit.
Big Crit from Mississippi.
He's a soulful rapper. And
really?
I like his message he brings along. He has multiple messages, but there's a certain message he pretty much gives off in every song, and it's basically let life just flow. Just let let life be life. And I think I have a hard time with that. So listening to that, you know, definitely reassures me, brings me reassurance. So that's my favorite rapper.
So he's more of that message that you get from him is let life flow, just let things happen. Okay. Mr. G.
Hey.
Sir, what do you listen to? What's a Mr. G soundtrack song?
All right. Well, I tell you what. So I grew up playing classical piano. I'm a 13 years classical pianist, and so I can dig the classics. You know, I love Beethoven, I love Handel, I love Chopin.
Nice.
So I can get that. Lately, though, I've been trying to wake up in the morning and I listen to my devotions and meditations and that type of thing because your brain is active, you know, in the morning.
Right.
And so I want to fill that prefrontal cortex as much as possible.
Right.
But when I get to the gym, it's all about EDM.
Okay.
You know, that's what I listen to. It's upbeat and it's motivation.
Yeah.
You know, you can get into that beat and it goes. So I listen to EDM at the gym and sometimes when I'm driving home. And then when I get home, I turn on YouTube and I get to, you know, those screensaver type of videos or, you know, basically underwater sounds with relaxation. That meditative, you know, silent kind of sounds underneath, you know, very calming tones, because I want to calm down, right? Bring it on down. That's right. Bring that energy down so I can get to sleep.
So y'all hear my big brother talking about vibing, right? So he knows his vibe. So he knows he wants positive affirmation in the morning.
Yep.
At the gym, he needs a boost.
Yes, indeed.
And in the evening, he wants to bring that vibe down.
Bring it down.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. So that's we talked about that, and I said in-house. It was the open house that there was a virtual open house the Wounded Warrior team did, and one of our folks brought up, of course, music and the song that really was motivating her during the week. So, Mr. G, if you had to pick one artist, say you're stuck on the island for a year, one, who would it be?
You know, it's kind of interesting. I would probably say Dash Berlin. He's an EDM artist, but he does a lot of covers.
Okay.
And so forth. So he improvises. He's got 4 different songs that sound totally different, but they're the same song.
Wow.
And it's amazing how much he's able to adapt and make these changes and modifications to the same song. So I think if it were him, that would be one thing.
You can survive with him.
I can survive with him.
Okay.
Yep.
So we talked to the team about what kind of music they listen to and why. I mentioned mine. Chance went through his. Mr. G just gave us his. I think that's important. Mr. G, I think that's very important. And Chance, because, and this is moving forward for you, Chance, think about, like Mr. G said, what your brain is doing in the morning, right? It's looking for something to latch on to. So you want to give it that energy it needs and the direction that you want your day to go. So recommendation, you my little brother, you know I passed this on to you, man. Recommendation, find something positive that catches you in the morning like that, right? It could be, like you said, some positive anything that's positive affirmation to get your day started that way. Because no matter what, guess what? You started your day off. Hopefully you listened to me over the last year. You started your day off with gratitude. You're ready for it. You're good and happy for another day. But now you got some motivation that's driving you to start your day off, right?
That's right.
And I do the same thing, Mr. G.
That's right.
I listen to I got to give them a plug because they gave us rights to play their music. Team Fearless, Fearless Soul in the mornings to get my morning started. Then I get to the gym and they got some. You go from Fearless Soul to Fearless Motivation. Yo, Fearless Motivation is like, let me tell you something. You're going to have a good day. And Eric Thomas and them be in your ear, man. And it's funny because and I'm going to recommend this to everybody who's listening. If you listen to these tracks, it's music with someone speaking to your spirit. And what's so strong about it is it's never anything that's like, why did he say that? No, it's always on like, wow. And it's always either a powerful quote and then they just drive into the quote, right? Like we do on this show. And that's what makes this amazing. So if you guys weren't listening this morning or this afternoon when we started talking about start with why. I got Mr. Scott Garricky and Mr. Chance Forrest, who's leaving us for Alaska next week. And we talk about Simon Sinek, who is someone who we're trying to get to speak to us, Air Force Wounded Warrior and Resiliency Team. We got his team on email right now. So we're trying to get them so we can be doing the same type of speaking with Mr. Sinek himself. If you hear me, I'm going to forward this link to him so he knows, hey, we're trying to get you, sir. We're still trying. But those kind of conversations, Chance, positive vibes. Start your day off. Positive affirmation. Start your day off with something to latch your brain on to that's going to say, hey, I started my day off with gratitude. I'm moving in positive. No matter what happens to me, I know how I started, right? And it's what I do next. Mr. G, did we have any takeaways back from the book that we didn't cover, sir?
I think we covered most everything that we were in there. Okay. And but you make a good point. Music speaks to your heart, speaks to your feelings, speaks to your emotions. And that's the difference between a lot of the things that we talk about that are just superficial knowledge and so forth. You know, you take a look at the headlines or something like that. It's only superficial. It's the top surface. Right. What you need is something to speak to your soul. Yep. You know, and that's what music, I think, reaches out and does. You know,
I think I could definitely agree with that because when I listen to music, I don't listen it to just what the words are, but not even just the beat, but definitely the frequency it gives off. Because I know that whenever you listen to music and you're receiving that frequency, you're not only receiving it, but you're also creating your own frequency. So whenever you go out to the world and you share your wavelength,
let's go.
They can take that and be.
We had to get his battery charged up. It just took us 15 minutes.
But that's what I listen. That's pretty much what I tell myself every day. Is don't listen to negative stuff. Right. Definitely listen to the positive stuff. And if you're gonna take any message away from a song, make sure it's positive.
There you go. Have you ever heard a song, guys, where songs are layered, right? So you hear it. Then, like, say they'll have like a little orchestra piece in there, and wait, I didn't hear that the first time, and it kind of makes your heart skip a little bit. Like, wait, I didn't know they did that. I love finding a little, like, peeling it back and hearing things about a song that I didn't hear the first time. If the beat was different, there is some bass in it I didn't know. And if you can do that, if you could listen to it for what it actually is and appreciate the music for what the artist is trying to give you, especially the ones who make the beat or the singing when they got the background singers that are doing a little something extra, that's powerful to me. Powerful, man. I grew up in gospel church, so
okay, yeah. I mean, same.
Those little changes.
I get you.
Like, whoa, yeah, you feel it. So. Positive vibes, man, and that's what the show's about. Mr. Garricky, Chance Forrest, really appreciate you guys, man. Mr. G, I'm going to tell you how I met Mr. G before we ran out of time. So I had seen him around the building. I can tell you, I didn't even know what Mr. Garricky did position-wise. I only knew that he was one of the coolest people I ever talked to. I never asked him about his job. You know the people say, what do you do? I never asked him what he did. I always like Mr. G just from in passing, our conversations were always cool. And he was always so motivating. And so I say Mr. G, and the first time we really had to talk was when we were doing the, I think it was the commander's call.
That's right.
And I had spoke, and Mr. G, he gave me some feedback after. Now, 1,000 people in the room, your brain thinks, but he stood out. And that's important, man. If you don't take away anything else from what I'm saying right now, is sometimes be that person that stands out, takes time to actually speak to someone, get to know someone, give them some feedback, positive or negative, just showing that you giving them that feedback and that you were listening to them. That meant so much to me. You know, that whole time, however many of those we did, you were the only person that gave me real feedback. And it was motivating.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. No, it was cool. Everybody's like, great job, good. No, but you were like, hey, cool. And he said something, and he knows it.
Yep.
He said 3 words based on something that I mentioned during. He said, yep, Winsome, start with why. And I wanted to bring that back because that's what we're talking about today. This is a full turn of how we start and where we're at today. Mr. G, I truly appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Chance, I'm going to miss you. You guys are loved. We'll see you next week. That's game time.
That's it.
Lord.
Oh, yeah. That was good. That was awesome.
Rap.
That was cool. That was cool.
You gotta like that.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Put my mask back on. I had it on, I promise.
Oh my gosh. No.
Yeah.
No push.
Was that out the whole time?